You're listening to Ask Dr. Jake. My name is Dr. Jake Tucker. I'm the owner and founder of Good Life Family Chiropractic here on the south side of Lincoln. And we're coming to you today with another episode of Health, Hope, and Wholeness. And this is actually part 2 of the top 10 things that you can do to keep your immune system functioning at a high level. Again, this is all coming out of an article that we wrote on our website, maxliving.com/healthy article/strengthen the body from the inside out. And so we covered these yesterday. And if you want to go back and listen to this, you can go to facebook.com/ask Dr. Jake. We post all the video podcasts of Ask Dr. Jake there. And then you can also download this wherever podcasts are done. But if you're just joining us here on KCRO Radio, we are here every weekday morning at 9:30 a.m. So the top things that we covered yesterday. Number one, thing that you can do to make sure that your immune system is getting what it needs so that it can function at a high level is spend plenty of time in fresh air and sunshine. That vitamin D3 especially is critical for your immune health. And then those other things, fresh air, sunshine, access to the outdoors. We also see measured benefits in the research from you doing that. Number 2, drink plenty of clean water. I said yesterday, half your body weight in ounces, or if you just need a rough guesstimate, something to go off of, 80 ounces every single day should do the trick. And that's more than 6 ounces of in that glass. You need to get that full 80 ounces in there. Number 3, get regular physical activity. Your immune system requires oxygen, as does every cell in your body. The only way to get it there other than breathing is to pump it through by increasing your blood flow through cardiovascular or high intensity interval training type of exercise. And that will actually, we see measured benefits in your immune system following physical activity. I can do that through my job. Oftentimes you guys, you're working on your computers, you're working at your laptops, or you're just not. And you need to find a way to get out there and get exercise. Something that increases your heart rate is what we're looking for. Number 4, wash your hands adequately. Use warm soap and water. Hand sanitizers can be toxic, much more toxic than regular hand soap. And even better, get a natural soap that uses essential oils for the scents. Those artificial scents have been known to be carcinogenic or potentially carcinogenic. So stay away from those. Number 5, take time for rest. Getting enough sleep on a nightly basis is important for your immune system. You'll notice that if you go back through previous flu seasons and cold seasons, the times when you got it are the times when you were going through the most stress and getting the least amount of sleep. Number 6 is see your chiropractor for regular adjustments. I mentioned yesterday the research that was done at the University of Stockholm in Sweden with Dr. Perro and company. They found that the chiropractic groups compared to the placebo groups that weren't getting any chiropractic care saw an increase of at least 193% in their immune system function. There's even more research done, even on people that have HIV and AIDS, where they're immunocompromised, that specific white blood cell markers that you can use to measure the function of the immune system, that they actually increased in production immediately following a thoracic adjustment, and lasted up to 2 to 4 hours longer if it was a manual thoracic adjustment. So getting that regular chiropractic adjustment, I don't get adjusted less than once every 2 weeks unless something is catastrophically going wrong in my life. My family gets checked multiple times a week and we adjust as needed. My recommendation for patients is base it off of physical exam findings. If you're not getting checked regularly enough, you won't find those findings often enough. And so we have wellness plans in our office designed for people to be able to get checked without having to be charged every single time they come in, but while maintaining the ability for them to get corrected every single time there's a misalignment or subluxation in their spine. So that covers the 6 that we covered yesterday. And so if any of those things don't apply to you, or do apply to you and you're not actively doing them and you need help with those, I encourage you to write our phone number down. You can call or text it. Text right now is probably the best option because those go directly to our app, which I can check from my cell phone. And that number to send a message in is 531-289-7100. Again, 531-289-7100. You can also go to the website, goodlifefamilychiropractic.com, or you can comment on this video. If you watch on Facebook, facebook.com/Ask Dr. Jake, make a comment below the video and we'll make sure to get that question answered for you, whether it's via personal message, via messenger, Or if we need to text or call you, we can reach out. We can do it publicly if we're not able to get in touch with you as well. But I wanted to go through these last 4 points because they're also very, very important. If you're going to be healthy and you're going to have a healthy functioning nervous system supporting an immune system, or rather the immune system supports the central nervous system. The central nervous system controls the immune system as well as every other system in the body, which is why chiropractic is so important, because it's a functional improvement to the function of that central nervous system. And so one thing that you can do to support that, besides chiropractic adjustments, is to give it what it needs nutritionally. You may not realize this, but you replace yourself, every cell in your body, at least once every 20 years, 15 to 20 years on average. Your stomach lining and small intestine lining and large intestine lining, that's every 3 to 5 days that those are replacing themselves. And it replaces itself with the material that you give it. And so if you eat fat, greasy food, then you're going to get, an intestinal lining that replicates what you're putting in. If you're eating high carb, high sugar, junk food, you're going to replicate that in your gut lining. And so eating nourishing foods, don't look at just the macros, don't look at just the carbohydrates and the fats, but look at what's actually inside of those foods that you're putting inside your body. Something like fish may be high in fat, but those fats are essential fatty acids, filled with essential fatty acids that your body requires in order to replace nerve tissue and replace hormones and make sure that you have everything you need to be there. Another note here in the article is that they should be probiotic rich cultured foods as well. You need probiotics in your diet. And if you're not getting them in your diet, you need to supplement with those, because you are more bacteria than you are human cells by a factor of at least 10, almost 100, if you haven't taken your bowel movement yet today. But if you're not giving yourself good bacteria, and your diet is not supporting a good bacteria environment, bad bacteria are going to come in and they're going to overwhelm the good bacteria. And that's where we start ending up with infections. That was where we start ending up with chronic inflammatory conditions, IBS and Crohn's and GERD and these types of conditions. And so get those things in there that are going to help replace you at a good, healthy level. The number 8 things that we're looking to do is we're actually going to be looking to supplement during times of an additional need. Those times would be times of increased stress. And I know of no greater time in my life of increased stress than right now. I mean, just COVID alone and the shutting down of the economy and what that's done to businesses, small businesses like my own that are owned by private local individuals, we suffered the most during this time. And no, there's nothing that the government can do to come in there and help us. And so we've suffered more stress, and some of you have suffered more stress from the potential loss of job because your job just couldn't support keeping you at home and working remotely than ever before. And so it's times like these where we do need more help on the nutrition side. Never mind that our food, even the good healthy food, things like a head of broccoli, are 2/3 less nutrient dense than they were in the 1930s. So we need to be able to get those nutrients in there. And that's where supplements come in. Things like vitamin C and quercetin, they do great things to help support the immune system. Zinc, absolutely. The quercetin in the vitamin C complex that we sell here in our office, it actually allows for better transport of the zinc into cells, much like they've advertised for hydroxychloroquine. Hydroxychloroquine does not treat COVID, by the way. What it does is it creates a pathway that opens up the zinc to be able to come into the cell and to be able to do what it does to keep your immune system functioning at a high level. Quercetin does a very similar thing. And then number 9, you need to turn off the fear. So right now, and even before COVID, I just stopped listening to the news. I stopped paying attention to social media. Yeah, I have a Facebook account and I check it and I read the funny quotes and I check the tags to see who's asking questions, but I'm not scrolling through looking at all the fear mongering that's going on. I'm not looking at what the news media is saying because they sell fear. Fear sells. If you create a crisis, people will buy it. If you create fear, people will buy it. They will react. They will turn on, and that induces stress. So, the news media is incentivized to give us more bad news than good news. And you saw this even before what we consider to be a pandemic hit with COVID-19. But what we've come out with, and when you look at the actual data, I mean, really, just go to the data that the CDC is putting out. And what you'll find is this. Number one, that's less than 0.1% of people that get COVID die from COVID. And when you get into the sub 60 age range, those numbers drop even further. Your risk of getting COVID is a lot less than what they suggested very early on. Now, as Americans, we are the least healthy country in the industrialized world. We spend more on healthcare and health than any other country, and we're the sickest in the world. And so, as you would expect, when you're a sick country, you're going to see worse numbers than anywhere else. And so you see a lot of the news media, they're critiquing our approach and our president's approach and our local politicians. There's a lot of criticism happening right now. If all you do is look at the media, it's going to induce fear. It's going to induce stress. And that is not something that is healthy for the immune system. Focus on hope. Focus on the fact that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that the body needs no help. It just needs no interference. It needs just those things that God created for it that you should be getting on a normal, typical daily basis. And so focus there. Focus on what God has for you. And then think for yourself. Number 10 is think for yourself. Ask questions. Treat people with love and respect, whether they agree with you or not, or whether you agree with them or not. This is not a time to be divided or to create division. You know, even though I don't agree with the mask mandates, I keep a mask on me, not to wear around. I know the science says that it's more likely to decrease your oxygen, increase your carbon dioxide, and create symptoms of hypoxia if you wear a mask around than it is to block a virus or bacteria that can't even effectively keep smoke particles out that are actually larger than the COVID particles that the masks are said to protect against. It's completely nonsensical, but I don't go around looking for a fight. I don't go around looking for someone to argue with. Lead with love. Think for yourself, absolutely. Ask questions about things, but don't look for that fight. Nobody's looking for someone to lead them with a fight. What we're looking for is a direction to go to actually get healthier physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. And right now, more than ever, we have to do those things that build that up. And so I hope this list of 10 absolutely got there for you. Again, you can find this at our website, maxliving.com/healthy articles/strengthen the body from the inside out. That will be posted on our Facebook page, so you can go back and listen to that. And again, if you need my support professionally here in our office, we are open to you. The first 5 callers this week will get a 50% discount off of any necessary exam, x-ray, consultation, report of findings, you name it. Typically, it's about around $130 for the first visit in our office. You'll get that for just $65 if you call today, and that will take care of everything in that first day, unless you stick around and we decide to do an adjustment. But that discount applies to you there as well. I'll join you again tomorrow morning, again at 9:30 for another episode of Ask Dr. Jake.